Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I would like to start this meeting by taking a moment to reflect on the life and service of the Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, we now proceed with the meeting, and are there any apologies for absence? I don't think so. Everybody appears to be here.
No apologies, Leader.
Item 2, declarations of interest. Are there any declarations of interest? No. We move then on to item 3, the minutes, to consider and approve as correct record the minutes of the meeting held on the 17th of March. Does anybody disagree with the minutes? Then those minutes are agreed. Thank you. We now move on to item 4, the tenant engagement strategy, and I'll pass over to Councillor Godfrey.
Thank you, Leader. I'm very pleased to be bringing this to Cabinet tonight. As part of our commitment to building a world-class housing service, tenant engagement is a key, and this strategy describes how we will do this. There are regulatory requirements. The Regulator of Social Housing states that councils must follow the requirements of the Regulator of Social Housing Tenant Involvement and Empowerment Standard. In addition, the Charter for Social Housing in 2020 talks about, the need to engage with the tenants as a crucial part of its new charter following the Grenfell disaster. The strategy describes what tenant engagement is, how we will support tenants and staff to deliver our vision, and how we can reduce barriers to engagement. It states how we will communicate with tenants and share our performance information with them. An action plan in Appendix 2 has been developed to show how the strategy will be delivered over the next 3 years. The development of the tenant engagement has been supported by TPAS, the Tenant Participation Advisory Service, who are experts in tenant engagement. Offers from across our own housing service have had a significant input, as have members of the Tenant Engagement Project Group. And so alongside this, we consulted with the current Tenant and Leaseholders Board and directly with a large cohort of tenants who have expressed an interest to be involved. The wider tenant community were informed of the strategy consultation, which ran from the 17th of February to the 12th of March via the website and the tenant newsletter, which was delivered to all tenants and shareholders. We received 7 comments about the strategy, none of which affected a change to the document. Feedback on the draft strategy was also given by the Overview and Scrutiny Committee in February, when we went to consultation, and in March, and again in March following the consultation. Before I just ask you to note and receive the report and recommend its adoption, I'd just like to thank the officers and all of those parties that were involved in producing this document, which I think sets the standard for us going forward. And I hope we will be able to provide this service in an exemplary manner. In fact, I know we will, because the staff are all absolutely committed. So I would like to ask that we receive and note the report and adopt the strategy.
Okay, so you're proposing the recommendations. Is there a seconder?
Happy to second, Leader.
Councillor Mrs. Hollingsby. Okay, over to you, members. If nobody wants to speak, I will endorse what Councillor Godfrey has said. It's a good piece of work, and it's part of the main strands of pulling back together the return of the housing stock to us. A sad phase, which hopefully is now over, we're looking forward to the stock survey coming forward, and that should put us on total track to bring us back to where we were before we went into the ARMO. Okay, if nobody else wants to speak, Councillor Mrs. Hollingsby.
Yeah, thank you, Leader. I was then just going to add, I mean, it is a very comprehensive report, and I'm pleased to see the consultation that took place. I think it's really important, and it just proves, with only 7 responses, that people are actually happy with this. And the only thing I noticed somewhere, and I can't find it at this minute, is it talks about the Shetway tenant and board and lease board, and I just wondered if that was if there's anything if anything's going to happen about changing that, because obviously we are now Folkestone and Hythe.
Absolutely, and part of the process going forward would be to rename what is the historic name for Shetway Tenants and Leaseholders Board. I don't know if Helen Sudbury, Mrs. Sudbury, would like to comment on that.
Thanks, Councillor Godfrey. Yes, that's correct. The current board will hopefully we'll be able to develop them into what we're going to call our new tenant's voice, which will have a rebrand and a new title, yeah, to reflect our current situation. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Right. Okay. So no other member wishes to speak. Then it's proposed by Councillor Godfrey, seconded by Councillor Mrs. Hollingsby. All those in favour, please take the roll call.
Thank you, Leader. Councillor Collier.
For.
Councillor Godfrey.
For.
Councillor Field.
For.
Councillor Mrs. Hollingsby.
For.
Councillor Monk.
For.
Councillor Peel.
For.
Councillor Prater.
For.
Councillor Wybrow.
For.
And Councillor Wimble.
For.
That's unanimous, Leader.
Thank you. We now move on then to agenda item 5, which is the adoption of the 3rd revision of the Kent Downs Area of Outstanding Natural Beauty Management Plan. I'll pass over to Councillor Mrs. Hollingsby.
Yes, thank you, Leader. And I'd just like to say thank you to my colleague, Councillor Wimble, for allowing me to present this report as a representative of the Council on the AONB. The Kent Downs AONB covers 25% of the district, predominantly in the northern half, but also running east-west through Saltwood and Lymm. This report proposes adoption of the reviewed document, which strongly reflects existing already adopted plan. All 12 local authorities with land area in the Kent Downs AONB are legally required to adopt the same AONB management plan. This is the final version of the AONB management plan, which has been subject to extensive opportunities for comment. This is the adoption stage for the plan and for all other districts. The AONB management plan has the potential to improve the quality of life for residents of Folkestone and Hythe district living and working in and around the area of outstanding natural beauty through the conservation and enhancement of its landscape and supporting the social and economic well-being of communities. The plan presented for adoption is provided in Appendix 1. This is the result of extensive participation and consultation, including with this council. An internal consultation has been held, with the review proposals being considered by council officers and highlighted to members. All Folkestone and Hythe District Council members were informed of the consultation through a briefing note, which summarised the proposals and gave a link to the consultation pages of the AONB's unit's website. Members were also encouraged to raise any questions with the planning policy specialist and provide comments. Given that this is a review of an existing plan, there were only a few points raised by this council, and you can see those in Appendix 2 and along with the AONB's response. These comments led to a number of amendments to the draft plan. Cabinet is asked to agree the recommendations 1 to 4 set out in the report, because adoption will fulfil the Council's statutory duty to work with the other 11 local authorities to prepare, review and adopt a management plan for the Kent Downs area of outstanding natural beauty. The plan offers considerable benefit to the district and will help meet the Council's strategic objectives, our response to the climate and biodiversity emergencies, and the health and well-being of our communities. And I therefore recommend the acceptance of the report, and I hope I have a seconder.
Yeah, thank you. Councillor Wimble, you second?
Happy to second.
Okay, over to you, members. Councillor Wimble.
Thank you, Leader. Can I just say thank you for Councillor Hollingsby. We didn't fight over who was going to present this, but it's something that obviously affects her with her portfolio and myself. It's a very important document that gives a lot more clarity going forward for planning and all kinds of other important aspects for the council. And I'd like to thank the officers for doing a superb job in preparing the report. And that's why I'm more than happy to second it.
Thank you. Councillor Mrs. Wybrow.
Thank you. Yes, I agree. It's a really important document. I found it a very interesting read, actually, particularly about the farmed landscape and the challenges that are faced there. It's important that it recognises the decline in biodiversity and the importance of climate change, and I'm more than happy to adopt it. It does beg the question, though, of how we are going to mitigate the harm to the AONB or the setting of the AONB due to Otterpool. And it's something that I have asked for a briefing of, so I hope that that's on the list for briefing, but I think it's something that might be helpful if we could clarify that for members of the public as well, please.
Yes, thank you. That's the one point where I was very keen to see. The fact of the matter is that it is a secondary planning consideration. It's not a primary planning consideration, and so it should be. One of our problems is 25% of our district is ANOB, and if you then take a ruling that was and over apply it, you expand the area of outstanding natural beauty to the horizon, which was never the intention. So we've got to be a bit careful. But yes, we'll be briefed on it and where and how and what mitigation we've done and have already built into our plans. Councillor Mrs. Hollingsby.
Yeah, thank you. I'll just add to that, as you can see in the comments that we made and that were taken on by the AONB, is I raised this issue on a number of occasions, and as you can see, the comment says that they are very keen to work with us with regard to Otterpool. So they are keen to work with us. They always have been, and I've always brought Otterpool up at a number of meetings when we've had presentations on what development is taking place near the AONB.
Does any other member wish to comment? Then it was proposed by Councillor Mrs. Hollingsby, seconded by Councillor Wimble. All those in favour? A roll call, please.
Councillor Collier.
4.
Councillor Godfrey.
4.
Councillor Field.
4.
Councillor Mrs. Hollingsby.
Or
Councillor Monk.
4.
Councillor Peel.
4.
Councillor Prater. Councillor Prater.
4.
Councillor Wybrow.
Or
Councillor Wimble.
4.
That's unanimous, Leader.
Thank you very much. And that was the last item on our agenda, a nice quick meeting. Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Good night, everybody.
Good
Good night. Good night.
Bye.